And we are live. Welcome one and all to the monthly Rideshare podcast, where we actually missed a month and people have actually been wondering what happened. Like, it's supposed to be monthly and you were actually doing 2 times a month and then you missed a whole month. Well, folks, it's time to be real. It's time to be honest. There was a little thing called the midterms that came up. We all had a political discussion. We decided we were never going to speak to one another again. True story. You know, Democrats and Republicans, they just don't get along very well.
We've made amends.
But then, yes, but then Uber, of course, did something stupid, and that old proverb of the enemy of my enemy is my friend, or however the heck it goes. Well, we all made amends, decided, yeah, let's get the gang back together again, which is something the Beatles never did. So yay for us. And sitting in with me is, of course, Cecily from Drive Girl Drive.
Hey, guys. What's going on?
Yes. And we have your driver, Mike. Mike from your driver, Mike.
Yeah, hello, everyone.
And then we have the one guy who's going to get sued by Uber for copyright infringement, Mark from Uber Hints.
What?
Good evening, everybody.
He seems pleasant, though. Good attitude.
Yeah, he's got a good attitude for a guy who's about to get a cease and desist letter.
Oh, jeez.
Now, what makes you think that?
That's what we're going to talk about today.
I don't know. I guess that's going to be the topic today. So, anyway, you guys have probably seen the title, and so you probably know what is going on. But I will do a quick refresher. What started this whole thing out was a couple things, but mainly a little Twitch streamer called Just Smurf. Now, we all know that there are Uber tubers out there who live stream their driving. That's not a secret by any stretch of the imagination. Heck, we have had people on this very show that has streamed their rides. Now, we'll talk about whether that's ethical or not, but this particular Uber tuber called, well, I don't know if he's an Uber tuber, but he's called Just Smurf. He made national headlines. Uber and Lyft suspended him. And in the month since he's been suspended, they have completely permanently deactivated him from ever using Uber or Lyft again. And they have rewritten their terms of service so that you can't live stream. In fact, the terms of services kind of suggest that if someone in the car is not comfortable with you recording them at all, you should not do that or you will be deactivated from the platform. Now, what has happened in that last month, and this is why the topic's going to take so long, I think, is that Uber revised their terms of service to put new rules in place. You know, rules that you don't think you would put on a partner, or you at least discuss with a partner before you put them in to make sure the partner was happy with this, where you couldn't share your referral code with anyone but your personal friends. You couldn't use Uber's logo or their trademark in any of your YouTube channels. And, well, one of the fellow Uber tuber, your personal driver, he's been very open about this, recently got hit by Uber. They have told him, now there's some dispute on why they contacted him. He thinks it's because of the live stream. They say, oh, it's because you're sharing the personal code. I think it's a moot point. The bottom line is Uber are using their terms of service to try to strong arm someone into taking down their videos. And so we are going to talk about all of this. Are we going to have fun or what?
It's going to be great.
I intend to.
Yeah.
And before we begin, I just want to say, see, Uber Girl Paula, I did not forget. I promised you at the end of the last podcast we did, we would talk about this. We are definitely talking about this. Actually, it's kind of ironic because I made it a point to remember that so that we did talk about it, and I didn't realize it was going to come back in such a big way. So there is a lot to discuss on this. So I guess we'll just first get a feeling of where everyone is at. And that is, what do you think about live streaming your Uber passengers in general? Personal thoughts, no judgment until like 40 minutes into the episode. So, Mike, let's start with you.
Yeah. So I've never done that. I've never streamed in car with passengers. I've streamed when I've pulled over. You know, I mean, there is the privacy thing because in PA, actually in California here as well, it's dual party, right? You got to get approval from both people. Hey, heads up, audio and visual equipment's in progress. You know, it was maybe 30% of that, but 70%, I thought it was just kind of awkward. Like I felt like, who knows what could happen on the road? Who knows what they could say? I really would want a lot of my content. I would say, yeah, I always want all my content to basically be family friendly anyway. And I know those conversations aren't family friendly a lot of the times. So
Oh no.
it was more so like keeping a professional quality of content on the channel, not having, I mean, who knows what they're going to say. I didn't want it to be awkward. And like, sometimes you have awkward rides and like, I don't know. It was more so that I never did it.
No. Okay, but personal opinion on it. I mean, I know you never did it, but like, yeah, is it ethical, legal, unethical? What do you feel about the practice in general?
If you have a disclosure that says, the audio and video recording or in progress, that's fine. But if you're live streaming to the internet, my like initial reaction is like, that's at least unethical, right? I'm not a lawyer. I can't say if that part's illegal as far as disclosures and, even if you have signage, but I would say it's kind of on the ends of being a little unethical.
Oh, okay. So let's move on to Mark next. I know Mark's got some thoughts on this.
Okay, yeah, I like my channel be family too. I'm thinking, the Addams family, the Manson family, the Corleone family.
See, this is what I miss about us all being together again. My videos don't have this pizzazz without you guys here.
But aside from that, I mean, I think the legal side is pretty darn clear. There are streaming videos across the world, right? If anyone wants to, probably where most of you, the three of you are sitting right now, I'll bet there are hundreds, if not thousands, of live cams throughout Los Angeles, right? I'm sitting in St. Louis tonight. I would be very surprised if there's not a live cam outside the Gateway Arch somewhere, just filming people as they stroll by and have conversations. So, so the legality of it is probably pretty clear. I think the fact that it's everywhere speaks to that. Now, as far as the ethics or morality of the whole thing, first of all, entertainment-wise, I just don't see. Is someone flying a jet out there?
Someone's flying a jet somewhere.
But as far as the entertainment value, I just don't get why someone would want to watch that. I don't even want to watch my passengers. Why in the heck would someone else? So,
well, I'm just gonna say right now, I know my dad's listening to this because he was looking forward to this conversation, so I'm going to use this moment to, unfortunately, publicly embarrass him a little bit. You never know what people are going to watch, because my dad actually will sit on the couch, and he will watch the NASA channel for hours. Just people doing maintenance on the space station for hours.
Kevin,
so you never know what people will watch.
Live in outer space. That is pretty interesting when you think about it. It's a little different than watching somebody in a Chevette.
I don't know. They're both doing the same boring stuff. I would assume it.
So anyway,
I'd rather be watching House of Cards.
I just don't see the entertainment value of it. Now, I see occasionally something bizarre, outrageous happens, and people say, "Oh, I want to see that. Someone got held up. Someone got robbed." Or they have the setup videos. We've all seen the setup videos. With there's that one where the woman gets in the car and she's pretending that she thought it was an Uber, and the driver is pretending he thinks he's picking up a prostitute, right? There's those things that I'm pretty convinced are setups. But aside from that, you see guys like your personal driver turns on his camera for 4 hours.
Yeah, sometimes more. So, well, I'm sorry. Was that the end of your point, Mark?
From that, someone gets a car. People will argue there's no expectation of privacy. I think when you get in a car with friends and you have conversations, I think there is kind of an expectation of privacy, whether that's legal or just your personal feelings. To me, it's creepy. It just is. So that's my take on it.
Oh, okay. Well, Cecily, as the entertainer of the group, your thoughts on this?
My thoughts are I first think that it's necessary for every driver to have a dash cam to record what's going on inside of your car and outside of your car for your protection. Secondly, I think that Uber ruling that you should not be able to broadcast these tapes I think that's wrong. I honestly think it's wrong. I understand being in California, you do need to inform your passengers. At the same time, I feel like something that Mark said before, there are tons of cameras all over our city that record things for various reasons. And if you get caught doing something bad, what's the first thing that's going to happen, especially if you're on the street? I go into a store, I slap a clerk, and I get arrested for it. They're going to play the tape. You know what I mean? So I feel like no one has to approve or disapprove that sort of thing. And I feel like very strongly that even though we're partners, this is your business. And I feel like you should be allowed to do what you want to do with that. Personally, would I like being recorded? I'm going to say no if I'm not having a good hair day. But at the same time, if I'm informed, maybe I might enjoy that, or I have the opportunity to say no. So I'm not going to say that they shouldn't be able to do it because it doesn't fit my circumstance, but I feel like it's your business and you should be able to do what you want to do. And by golly, I feel like if you say, hey, we can't broadcast this stuff, then a lot of people are able to get away with bad behavior. We've seen a lot of people's truth and how folks really are, if you know what I mean, by seeing these broadcasts shared. Some of these types of bad behavior has allowed people to be vindicated, have allowed people, have caused people to lose their jobs and things like that. And I think that sort of thing is important. And it may be a case where that's something that will work for the greater good. So while I said it may not work for me, especially if I'm in the back seat and I'm cussing somebody out or I look crazy, but I feel like Uber and Lyft should not prohibit that.
Right. Well, you actually touched on the next subject that I was going to bring up.
Okay.
My personal opinion is that, yeah, it's creepy. Some people are probably surprised to hear that because I've been pretty defensive of the people doing this, but it's like I always kind of like to read the letter of the law. And for the longest time, Uber, in their terms of service, did not say this was not okay. Now, there are some states that said it wasn't okay, and that's another thing altogether. But I'm actually surprised it was not more clearly spelled out for as long as it has been.
Right.
I think it should have been, considering how long Uber's been around and that dash cams are just part of everyday life and that streaming is something that people make money doing, including myself some nights, to be perfectly honest. I'm honestly surprised no one at Uber even thought that this was an issue. There had been like Uber dash cam stories about all these things that people got caught doing that you'd think someone would have said, hey, if someone decides to do this live, we've got a problem. Because I do agree, because here's the thing. I agree that on the sense that it's your car, and if it's your private business, whether you put a camera in your car or not is completely up to you. What you do with that footage is also completely up to you. It's your own business. That's what Uber likes to say. You are your own business. So, hey, don't tell me what I can and can't do with the footage. Now, as for live streaming, well, follow your state laws. In California, that would be considered a no-no, although some legal experts have pointed out that as long as you put the stickers on the windows and warn people that there will be live broadcasts, it's perfectly fine for them to do that.
And
just
to interject, like I've gone into stores or walked into spaces where they were recording, and that little disclaimer at the building allows them to capture whoever image that's in there. And if you didn't read it, so what? And next thing you know, you see yourself on television. So the laws work in some people's favor and they don't. Again, like I was saying before, I feel I don't want to tell you what to do with your business and your footage. And I feel like we should have the freedom to do that.
Right. And
All right, I
not
want
to
to jump
mention,
in on this.
sure.
Because I kind of disagree with the two of you in that regard. Not that I'm, I want to wave a flag for Uber necessarily, but I think when, you talk about the partners or whatever, I still think that's Uber's brand, and they do have a say in how it's presented. It's just like I can buy a McDonald's franchise. And I know it's not an exact parallel. We're not franchisees, but I can buy a McDonald's franchise and say it's my business, but I still have to do business according to certain guidelines and certain criteria. I have some flexibility, but I also have some expectations. And that's where I think,
well, Mark,
we.
Mark, here's the thing, and this goes back to what Kevin was saying. Initially, they didn't really have a clear-cut answer for us for years. And my thing is like, at what point, at any time, they'll push everybody off the platform. You got to sign this terms of service, and now you got to jump back on. I don't know any other business that does that. You know what I mean? Like it seems like once you're grandfathered in most cases, that's what you stick to. But they're able to change the terms of service at any given time, and I don't think that that's okay. I think that some of us should have the right to do this, and then like, you know what, the next wave of drivers, we're going to change and we're going to have them do that. I don't think that there's something wrong with the way that they do that.
and in terms of the franchise analogy, although the point is well taken, it should be noted, Mark. It should also be noted that when like McDonald's, for example, I hate to admit that I like this. I love their McRib. I don't know why. It is so horrible, and yet I get excited it's back, and they're giving 2 for $5. Thank you. After I just lost 30 pounds, but the thing is, whenever they bring the McRib back, or whenever they do like the 32-cent cheeseburger deal or whatever, that is something that franchisees are like, they don't plan those deals. And so they have a corporate office that says, no, this is a McDonald's deal. So we will cover the losses because this is going to get people into the store. So they are partners. You don't see Uber doing that when they have a sale. You don't have them having this conversation with us when it's time to dictate how much we're charging or how the surge is going to work. Whenever we're going to get financially impacted, they're like, well, tough. We're Uber. You're not our partners, but then we're their partners when it's convenient for them. So, if they're going to push this whole, like, we're our own business, you know what? The camera's in my car. I will do whatever I want as long as the state law that I am in permits me to do so. And if I personally feel that way, because even if the state law permitted me to live stream my passengers, I personally wouldn't do it. Again, I think we're all in agreement. That's just a little weird. At the very least. But now that brings us to the next topic of this. Because this is a multi-layered, complicated situation, because when Just Smurf got suspended, this was not in place. These rules were not in the terms of service, and he made a point that said, I am in a one-party consent state law. Now, there might be some other parts of that maybe don't support his claim as much. None of us are lawyers, but that was a good point. It's like, hey, Uber's saying this is fine when I'm doing it. They didn't rewrite the TOS until after he got caught. And then they said, oh, you broke the terms of service. Like, you didn't know he was breaking a rule at the time. And for that matter, with your personal driver, and I know there's some people in the chat that have issues with him. I'm not going to get into that. If you like him, great. If you don't like him, you know what? That's great. Yeah, we have had Aaron on this show. I think most of us are cool with him. And in fact,
I like Aaron.
Yeah, I think most of us. But there's some people in the chat. I said the chat, not this. I think most.
Did anyone see
most? I'm sorry. What'd you say, Mike?
Michael, what were you saying? Did you mute yourself?
He might have. Well, anyway, while he's figuring that out, There are people in the chat who don't like him. I know right now he's a very polarizing figure, but like he's been on this podcast before. Me, him, and Mike actually did a joint live stream where we were all streaming the same live stream on all three of our channels at the same times in the name of science. And I'm not sure what the exact results were of that. I'm not sure what we were looking for. For whatever it was worth, my channel was viewed the most, so I don't know what that says. Just throwing that out there. But he made the video recently where Uber, and this is probably where some of the confusion comes in. He made the video that Uber is having him take down live stream videos that he made in the past before this was a violation of the TOS. Right, and he refused to because it wasn't against the terms of service at the time. So then they're saying, "Oh, this isn't about those. This is about you sharing the referral code." And so at that point, it's like,
what?
Yeah. So now this is where I'm. And again, Aaron. I like you personally, and I still text you. I personally do not like the live streaming thing. I do think that's creepy. But Aaron was very, in my opinion, justified to say to Uber,
absolutely,
hey, you know what? I didn't break the terms of service. I mean, now it's a rule, so I won't do that anymore. At least I think that's what he was saying. Maybe he'll just move to Lyft and do it. I don't know. So the second part of this question is, should Uber be able to go back to our past? This is how us as UberTubers are affected, and say, hey, that thing you did this at this point in time in your channel before we wrote this into the terms of service, that we don't like that. We don't like that that represents us. So you got to take that down, or we're going to remove your access to the platform. Cecily, why don't you just take this one, because you definitely seem to have some opinions on this.
First off, miss me on anything that I posted before. I didn't do it for y'all. I did it for the people. So bye. Bye. I mean, how are you going to come over here? And I'm on YouTube. I can see if YouTube was telling me to take things down. And YouTube, trust me, my Uber videos, most of them have been demonetized for one reason or another, and I have to fight to get most of them monetized again. And we all know why that is, but miss me is what I have to say to them about something that happened in the past. And all you're going to do is enrage me, and I'm going to sit here and make Uber videos every day like you, Kevin.
I have cut down to 4 a week instead of 5. So my age.
That's what you want. We can do that. Shit.
So okay. So Mark, your thoughts on this? I think you had some thoughts on this, if I recall.
Well, I think like anything, you can't retroactively enforce a law that wasn't in place. I mean, even by the law of the land, you know, people that, for example, commit a crime and then they change. There's a lot of states where they had capital punishment, and at one point the laws changed, and you can't say, well, now we're allowed to send someone to the gas chamber, so we're going to do it to you. Well, no, because at the time you committed the crime, that wasn't the case. And Cecily, I agree with you. I think good luck. They don't have any authority over us and our content and what we can take down. However, my concern is this. Uber is a big company. Uber is a powerful company. Uber is a big advertiser on YouTube. And I think if Uber wanted to flex its muscle, they could get us to pull things down. And the reason I think that is, I don't know if the rest of us have that happen, but I made it pretty public that it happened to me a while back, where somebody, and it's happened to me more than once.
Oh, is this Viral Hog?
Yes. They challenged my content. And according to all standards, I was not infringing on them copyright-wise. You know, it was fair use.
Okay.
And what YouTube does is they go back and they say, well, I'm sorry, but the claimant disagreed with you. Well, big deal if they disagree with me. That needs to go to arbitration. Well, I suspect what will happen is Uber can do the same thing. They can make a claim, and we will defend our claim, and Uber will just say, no, I disagree with that, and YouTube is not going to stick up for us. We are all small potatoes in YouTube's eyes, and I think that is where, right or wrong, I think Uber could probably get videos removed. At the very least, you talk about monetization, they could take the monetization and take the money from us.
I say try it, and I know that most of us have been contacted by press and, you know, and I think that if they were to do something like that, I think we'd have no problem in sharing our stories. And because everyone loves an Uber scandal. And if big bad Uber wants to come after a small YouTuber that's just sharing how they feel, I think that people will have something to say about that.
Yeah, I say bring it on. In fact, I'm going to share a quick story, and then we're going to move on to Mike, of course, who we have not forgotten about. But actually, Viral Hog did challenge me on a couple of my videos, and every single time, you're right, it's frustrating. You make your appeal, and they send it to the claimant, and the claimant says, I don't agree with that, and I continue. I press. It's like, well, I disagree with you, and they give that warning email like, so you know if you object to this, you open yourself up to being sued. I'm like, yep, let them sue me. And they've not sued me because they know what it is. They even manually forced the video to be taken down, and I still appealed it. And, you know, they have to, because one of the things that these companies do have to decide is whether or not you're even worth going after.
Right. And, well, you know, what happened in my case, though, Kevin, it's not a matter of taking it down. What they want to do is take the monetization. That is their whole scheme. They don't get the videos up. They want money from the video. And so I said, I'll be damned if you're taking money for something I made. I pulled it myself. I re-recorded it without his content. And thank the Lord, I have some fantastic viewers, and they all supported me and went and watched it, even though they've seen it before. And any of you people that are watching, I want to say thank you for supporting me in that way.
Right. And by the way, to all the 40 people watching us, thank you for watching us. If you can do us a favor and give this video, or this podcast actually, a thumbs up to help with the algorithm, that would be great. So, Mike, your opinion.
Yeah. So I cut out a little bit. I disconnected. I believe we were talking about Uber punishing drivers for violations that were not on the terms of service at the time. Is that correct?
That's what. Well, it appears that that's what we're doing. Let's protect ourselves, because it appears that that's what they're doing with your personal driver.
Possibly,
allegedly, because when he brought it up, they said, "Oh no, it's about sharing the referral code," which is like, well, and this is what finally got me to take my referral code down. So, but what do you think? But we know what it's really about, allegedly.
I'm really excited for when our conversation moves to logoing and promo codes, because we're going to talk about that. And I do both of those things. But yeah, I think in short, I believe I was trying to catch everyone's point when I jumped back on here. I mean, yeah, if you did something, if you recorded like the Twitch streamer and it wasn't on the terms of service, how do you go back and reach back and say, hey, you violated our current terms of service, but we know it wasn't on the past terms of service. Now, I know I know it doesn't make any sense. If they did that to me, if they said, hey, you did such and such, and I'm like, well, that wasn't on the terms of service at the time, how can you even reach out to me? How can you honestly reach out to me and try to discipline that when it wasn't on there at the time? It makes no sense to me. But to the point about Uber trying to punish creators on YouTube by demonetization, then yeah, like Cecily said, it's like, hey, and maybe this will transition into the logoing and whatnot, but which you'll hear me argue fair use all day. But it's if you want to talk about presence and a video that could get tens of thousands or maybe 100,000+ views, it could be someone like us, a creator or another driver, sharing his or her story about how Uber came down on me or you, where it's like, geez, if you're a full-time driver, if you're a part-time driver, like I'm just trying to share my experience about rideshare. I just share a little bit about my thoughts, and this massive company, valued at close to 100, $1 billion now, whatever it is, closing up on this IPO soon. this behemoth is coming down on my little YouTube channel. Like, sorry guys, I make a little bit of extra money giving maybe not so favorable opinions. And that's another thing. Remember, in the terms of service for Uber, it said, or maybe still says, that you can't make any overly disparaging remarks about the company and this and that. I don't know. But if they started trying to demonetize my videos or having takedown notices for copyright infringement, I mean, if I were to go down, I'd be going down like swinging with everything I got, because all of us, we put a lot of work into these YouTube channels. A whole lot of work.
Yeah, there was a point where I felt like, I mean, at least a third of my videos had those little I forget what they're called, but where I had to initiate a manual review. And some of them were the ones that I was making the most money off of. And there's probably about 4 or 5 that still have not been reviewed. But yeah, there was a point where every time I uploaded a video, they would hit me with that. And you know, my titles are not salacious, but I felt like I was under a microscope. Like maybe I was on the bad list.
Well, your titles are actually nice, especially compared to mine. I remember the video that I did where I could have just pictured you sitting there getting chills, like, oh, Kevin, because of the comment you left where I made that video called "Who Will Uber Kill Next?" and you left a comment like, "Dang, Kevin, that title."
I know.
It's like careful there.
I know, because I just know how they've it's frustrating, you know. It's actually affected my desire to create videos because of this, because you know, I feel like, you know, is it going to be, am I going to get some kind of heat? Am I going to be able to make money off of it? And I do make money off of my content. I'm not afraid to say that. I mean, I enjoy doing it, but it's also a great way to make money too. So I mean, why come after me when there's a lot of idiotic stuff that you guys should be policing? And you know, it just, even with your guys' issues with the copyright, so-called copyright infringement and fair use and stuff, you know, we see a lot of big YouTubers getting away with that, and we are not able to. You know.
Well, I think it's because Uber wants to control the image. I mean, right now everything's about them controlling their public image to make it as nice as possible, because they've got an IPO coming up, and if you look at like a lot of the things they do recently, like the Uber Pro and the Uber Rewards thing that they just announced today, and I got to make a video about that, and the fact that they found 21 ways that you could be sexually assaulted by a driver. It's like they're trying to make themselves look like they're proactive and they care and that they're friendly and stuff like that, all because they want that investor money.
That's mad.
So that's why they're going. That's why they're going after us. I think I was going to go into the next logical thing, but I guess this is worth asking now since we're kind of on the topic. But do you think what they're doing with your personal driver is kind of an experimental show of force to see if it works? Yep.
Because why go for Aaron when they can go for others? That would be the best way to go about it. But I think, you know, start somewhere in the middle.
Well, they're not going to go after me because they know that I would love it if they went after me.
Aaron said he's been so, I mean, because Kevin, you've been like critical. I think it's a good word, like critical, like kind of analysis of the company. Aaron has been straight up, like just said some things to Uber's face almost. That's like, you know, pretty profanity laced a lot of times. And he says these things in the videos, and I mean, hey, everyone's different, but I think that's kind of fit the bill for Uber to possibly say, all right, that's our guy. Decent channel. It's not like 10, 20K, but he's saying these things about us. We can hit him for live streaming. We can hit him for promo codes. Let's go for it, possibly.
Oh, I called Uber CEO an SOB in one of my videos.
That's just one thing, though. Yeah, I remember that. It was just the one thing, but Aaron has said a lot of things.
Yeah, it was enough for my mom to say, Kevin, I raised you better than that. Why can't you be more like Cecily? She's so nice.
Hysterical.
Just call him bastardly Dara, and Dara the dick and everything else I call him.
Cecily.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny. I don't really really talk that much crap unless I get on here with you guys. I think I find my way around it, you know? My thing is I'll just find a strategy, but you guys pull it out of me. I'm just exposed right now.
Yeah.
I don't know. Name calling got the president elected. It might work for me.
Hey, if that's the end goal.
Well, if that's the end goal. So, all right, let's go on to the. Go ahead, Mark.
Quite shocked. I was quite shocked to see this happen because, quite frankly, maybe I am just in denial, but I didn't even think that people with our channel sizes and, Aaron's channel is substantially smaller than any of the three of us or four of us. And I can't count. And I was surprised that he was even on the radar, quite frankly. Because I kind of assumed that they don't have any idea who we are, but I guess I'm wrong.
No, they do.
I think. Well, but on the other hand, Aaron has been on this podcast, and me and Cecily have definitely quite a few subscribers. So that might be one way. But here's what I think.
But he's active.
Because
it says he has 282 videos. That's a big deal, right there.
That's not nothing. Also, when you look at Uber and stuff, I mean, people act like, oh, there's hundreds of channels. No, there's not. There's 50 maybe, and then you have a few that are kind of the well-known ones. And so I mean, compared to how many people have comic book commentary channels, I mean, it's nothing. So Uber can probably keep pretty good tabs on everyone. And so I think Aaron, it might be a combination of he's breaking some of their TOS now and they want to try to enforce it to show the future investors that they're enforcing it. He's big enough that he's shown up on my channel, on I think other channels he's shown up on. And he's known enough. But he's small enough that if they can get him and get away with it, then maybe they can feel comfortable in moving on to the next level up. I think it is strategic, in my opinion.
Everything they do is strategic, so absolutely.
Yeah, and whether you like Aaron or not, that should concern you. That should very much concern you. Now, the other topic aside from the new TO teams terms of service, one of the things that they added, as well as not only can you not live stream, which, again, in all fairness, that's a fair thing to ask us. I think that's fair personally, but the next thing that really got my blood boiling, and we'll start with Mark on this one, is that they wrote in the terms of service that if the customer did not feel comfortable being recorded, you could not record them. If they stay recorded, you have to turn that dash cam off. And interestingly, they did not write anything in the terms of service that said, hey, if the driver is uncomfortable with the rider recording them, because that happens all the time, are we allowed to ask them to turn that off? So, Mark, we'll start with you. What do you think of that?
Well, I think it's pretty evident that we have, as Cecily mentioned way at the beginning, at the start of this one, we have not only a right, but almost an obligation to run cameras in our car for reasons of safety, recording the rides. Now, if that is a live stream and they request it be turned off, I don't know. I don't see that I have that big an issue with that. But, I mean, I guess as a...
Well, the wording was not for live stream. Let's make that clear. It was just for recording in general.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah. I understand. I don't feel comfortable with that. I think if it's not against the laws of the land, I think, what's happening here, it's pretty evident to me what's happening. What they are trying to do is find every possible way to turn us into employees without making us employees. That's what they're doing with Pro. That's what they can manage every aspect of what we do. And it absolutely astounds me that court after court after court finds that we are not employees. And the ones that found that they are is overturned. Understand, I don't want to be an employee. I don't want that. I just want it to go the other direction, that they loosen the reins. And if they're going to call us independent contractors, they actually abide by that. But it looks to me like a lot of what they're doing is so suppressive. How they can continue to do this and then claim, and I think they know they're doing it. I think they are laughing. They're saying, what's the next outrageous thing we can try? Let's try it. We'll probably get away with it. And sure enough, they get away with it. And I think that's what goes on at Uber. They get away with it time and time and time again. Why shouldn't they do it?
Yeah. So Cecily, your thoughts?
I'm totally against that. I feel, I honestly felt that way until you said it. I just really feel like folks are pretty scared driving with people that are strangers, reading all the stuff in the news, all these weirdos doing stuff to people. I just think that the right are too much power. And to be honest with you, I feel like we're the ones who are most at risk. You're behind a wheel for an extended amount of time. Anything can happen in terms of accidents, people attacking you, all types of stuff. I think it's for your safety, about the people that drove for me or transported people. I would want to make them feel safe, and that is just disappointing to hear that they care more about the rider. And I use Rideshare every day, guys. I use Rideshare every day, so it's just disappointing to hear that they would not extend that opportunity for drivers to at least feel comfortable in their cars. Because at the end of the day, if something happens, at least they can prove their side of it, or someone knows what happened.
It just dawned on me. It really just dawned on me just this second, because I'm sure we're all aware of, I think it was Papa Sean was his name, the guy who was verbally assaulted by the gay Trump voting Latino in his car.
Oh yeah, that was horrible.
Yeah, that guy requested several times for him to turn the camera off, and it's like under Uber's terms of service, if he didn't turn that camera off, he's in violation of those terms of service, so he can get deactivated for that. Even though I think everyone who watched that agrees that you should be recording that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's
agreed,
like saying, I'm ready to rob you. Turn off the camera so nobody sees it.
I was gonna say, why would anyone it's, I don't know. Firstly, I don't think any passengers are really combing over the TOS to even know that's in there. And then the ones that do, like the percent of them that would actually, firstly, I think the percent of rides that this would actually happen on are very small, that a passenger would actually say, I feel uncomfortable. So what I would actually do in practice is I might turn it off until they start acting super weird or they're actually getting aggressive. I'd turn that thing right back on. I don't care what, or if they say it and they're already being weird or like seemingly threatening or being, harassing you, that thing's not going off. It doesn't matter to me what Uber's terms of service says.
Yeah, but the terms of service said, and the funny thing is you say aggressive, just maybe because before we started this podcast, I went to see The Old Man and the Gun, Robert Redford's supposedly final film where he plays a bank robber who just robs banks for a living, and everyone says, oh, he was so nice, I didn't even feel like I was being robbed. It's like, so what happens if you come up to a professional who gets in your Uber car, who gets in like, hey, could you turn off the camera? I'm just kind of camera shy. I just don't like it. It's like, oh, sure. And they seem really nice to turn it off, and then they pull out a gun or something. Like, okay, now that's done.
Yep.
I just not. It's so. What's also fun about this is that I see that we have like Seachell and rideshare driver Dustin, and the Fat Man all in our chat room, and it's like, boy, this is like. This kind of conversation, I really wish that we could have all of them in here so we could all talk about that. But I've also witnessed other podcasts that do more than 4 people. And I know it just doesn't work out. So I see you guys. I wish you could be here to join us.
We see you in chat. We see you in chat, guys.
Yep. But hey, if everyone watching wants to give us another thumbs up, that would be great. So far we're pretty much in agreement that the live stream was creepy. We do believe that we should be allowed to record our own passengers because, you know, self-protection as well as it's our own business. You know, businesses have security cameras. And I think we're also mostly in agreement that Uber's doesn't care about the driver so much, and even added on the bonus theory that they're trying to push us into employees without being employees. See, we can get over this political voting differences divide. We can come together for this. Let's see if we can come together.
I don't recall any of us saying who we voted for, Kevin.
It's a joke, Mark. It's a total joke. I thought you would have picked up on that by now. But now let's go ahead. Well, okay, in that case, we do have another aspect of this to talk about, and we'll start with Mike since he definitely wanted to talk about this. So although I think aside from him, this definitely affects me just as much. It affected me enough that I changed the videos.
Yeah.
And that is one of the things that Uber put in the terms of use their logos. You couldn't use their name in the channels. That's why I believe Rideshare Dustin was originally called Uber Driver 101. Now he's called Rideshare with Dustin because he read that and he just, you know, moved on with it. I don't think me, Cecily, or Mike ever had Uber in our names. I did that purposefully because I did not want to be pegged as an Uber guy. Yeah. I'm glad that didn't happen. But you know, I put logos of the companies in my videos because I think I want on a glance for people to see what the main topic of the video is. Yeah, and that way if they're not interested in that company, they can move on. So you know, if it's Uber, it's like, great, we want to hear what he has to say about that. When they see the Amazon.com logo, it's like, oh, he's just a hater, and they can move on and, you know, I guess watch my pathetic tribute to Stan Lee video. But Uber now said that was not good, so I personally removed the logos, and then I just removed everyone's logos because it's like, well, what's the point? But the thing was, you know, they're news videos. I think you are allowed to use those logos during news videos. And how far does Uber want to take this? What if you're reviewing the app and you have to use the app? The terms of service kind of suggest that if you record that, you would be in violation of all that. So I don't know. Does Uber have the right to actually demand this? And what do you think that they should be allowed to say no, you can't do, and what should they not be allowed to say no, you can't do? And yeah, Mike, take it away.
So I saw your video, Kevin, highlighting this logoing, this brand usage. I mean, I'll tell you, I'm still using their logo. I'm using, and what I actually use is Uber's official media assets. A lot of companies, you can search, you know, X and X, whatever company, media assets, and they have official photography, logoing, vector graphics, and that's where I pull all of these logos from. I'm still going to use it. I'm not going to stop using it because, I mean, it's not meant to be portraying myself, my videos, as an official Uber video. That's where you would get in trouble. So, hey, if I need to make, you know, most all of my thumbnails now have a picture of me in it, usually. So if I need to have a picture of myself just to ensure it looks a little different, that it's not an official Uber. Like if I put one of Uber's photography pictures with the word Uber over it in the corner, like they kind of do, and just have that and nothing else, that's deceptive because it kind of looks like an official Uber video. So within fair use, I mean, they have these media assets. I'm on their website right now. And a lot of these companies have media assets. As long as I'm not making it look like an official, I'm not selling it off as an official Uber video, that's fair use. And again, Kevin, like you kind of mentioned, for use in news reporting, Cecily, you highlighted this too, other YouTubers and creators using all types of graphics and stuff. Now, I'm not grabbing in artists' creations. I'm not taking all the photography I use is attribution free, meaning I don't have to give credit. There's websites you can get attribution free music and imagery, that's what I use. So I don't have to put attribution. So again, I'm not trying to create an official, dud or misrepresent the videos here. I'm still going to use that imagery because I'm not trying to do that.
Yeah. All right, Cecily, we're going to save Mark for last on this one. What are your thoughts, Cecily? You actually are in the entertainment business, so I imagine this debate comes up a lot with other things for you a lot.
Yeah, and I'm a graphic designer too, and so early on, I didn't want to use the words Uber or Lyft in my channel name or anything like that because I didn't want to have any legal issues. And on occasion, I have used logos and some of the artwork for my thumbnails, but there's probably maybe 5 videos that I've done that because I've always been mindful that that could be something that they could come after me after. So, to piggyback off of what Mike said, they do create these assets and they make them public because they do want you to use them, obviously in a positive light for like news articles and things like that. So they're there for that reason. But it's funny when how they change their tone when you're using them for like a video where you're talking shit. So you know what I mean? It's just kind of funny how that turned out because it's probably what it's being used for on YouTube for the most part. But I try to stay away from those things. To be honest with you, I put my signage on a clear piece of plastic, and I flash that thing when I have to. I looked at it like it's a business, and I've always kind of shied away from like saying I'm a Uber driver, this is an Uber car, and this is not popular, and I've been reluctant in sharing this with my audience. But when it came to that sort of thing, I really had a hard time with being branded for the most part. And so I think I have that same attitude when I talk about the things I talk about on my channel. Like, you don't see any codes. There's maybe one video out of hundreds that may have a code on the screen because I was trying to do something, and I think that was the popular thing at the time. But I like to separate myself from all of it. I don't want the association. I want to be as far away from it as possible. But I don't think that it should be something that people should be penalized for.
Now, Mark, our friend who's going to have his cease and desist letter sent by free second-day shipping on Amazon Prime.
Hysterical.
Your thoughts?
Well, do you see Uber in my name?
Yes, I do.
Do you see my Uber code running, my referral code running across the bottom of my screen?
Well, I see it on their channels too, but yes.
I have it.
So I don't care. I mean, I guess if they tell me to stop, I'm going to have to honor that request because they're bigger and stronger than me and they have sharper teeth. I have been stewing over this one. I cannot figure it out. I think I'm starting to get a handle on it. I don't want to quite put it out there yet, but I can't for the life of me figure out why they create a referral program apparently designed to encourage people to invite drivers to the platform, and then they prohibit its use. For the life of me, I don't get it. Who cares if that referral is used for my next door neighbor or if that referral is used for someone who's watching me from Boca Raton? What difference does it make? And until that is made clear to me,
that's a topic.
Well, until it's made clear to me, I'm going to continue to share my referral code because I figure I'm a partner, and that is a tool they made available to me to make money. And now they're saying, partner, you can't use a tool that we have available. And I have not been able to make sense of that yet because I'll tell you what, I continue to get emails saying, even though I'm a driver, I still get emails saying, hey, become a driver. Like, aren't you paying attention? So they're spending money doing that. They're spending money running TV commercials. They have ads up in ballparks, at airports. They obviously want people to become Uber drivers. Why in the world this one little sliver with referrals, they're pushing against. I can't figure it out quite yet, but I'm working.
Can anyone here think of a theory for that?
I have
that's
several
a good
theories.
Question.
I have several theories.
Okay.
Not quite ready to discuss yet, but and so I don't think it's that big a deal. I guess I'm not seeing the writing on the wall as
I have an idea. I mean, I feel like, you know, when I first started, the referrals were insane. They were insane for both parties. It was a good thing. Life was good. And over time, bonuses turn into guarantees and things of that nature. And at this point, I mean, I don't know if y'all are making referrals, but I haven't made any money in a very, very long time. And it's okay. I'm good with that.
I actually made 2 referrals in the last 3 weeks.
Oh, wow. Look at you.
See, that's a lot compared to what I do.
Yeah, I had one.
Yeah,
wow.
I was quite surprised.
I just don't think they want to spend that money anymore. And I think they're like, you know what, we have an abundance of drivers, you know, thank you. But, you know, you're done at this point. They are, sorry, my phone's going off in the background. They don't need our assistance anymore and to share the good news about driving for Uber. And they're probably trying to silence many of us because I've had many a person contact me and say, the YouTubers that you know, rideshare YouTubers are scammers, and they coerce you into signing up and they steal your referrals, almost like we're a separate entity, like we're not even drivers or we're not people who were just like them, you know. Like I've heard that from multiple people say that those people on YouTube, we don't know those people are scammers and they shouldn't have told you that, where the real deal is your Uber is the scam. That's the scam. The guarantees are the scam.
The funny thing about that of people that are down in the authenticity of YouTubers, I've done over 300 videos. I mean, a lot of us have done hundreds of videos. Really?
Oh, I've done over 1,000. So
exactly. There you go. Yeah, I know you're posting a lot.
Yeah.
So,
I need a life.
Of those videos, the majority, maybe the few in the beginning, I've never said, sign up for Uber, sign up to drive for Uber. Very, very, I may say, if you're interested in signing up, there's a link below, but I'm guessing it's probably 1%, 2% of my videos. So I'm not out there like selling this false, you know, golden image of pushing people to sign up. It's just not true. But Kevin, like you mentioned before, is if someone's going to sign up, you might as well use a referral code. And like Mark, I agree with you. Why does it matter if you reward you should reward me, by the way, Uber, for getting the word out and getting these videos that get thousands of views sometimes. It's getting a lot more eyes. It's free marketing, by the way, Uber. You're getting tens of thousands of impressions for free that I'm doing, and we're getting conversions for drivers. So can I please get a little kickback? Like, I mean, it just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I'd like to add to Cecily, the one thing you forgot about is now they are no longer giving money for rider referrals. They are giving ride credits.
Yep.
It's crazy. They're doing everything they can to pull it out of our pocket. Why don't they want us to profit anymore?
That's a good question. And, you know, maybe Cecily is right about something. And also Mike's right about like my recommendations. Like I kept it up, but when people always say like, hey, why you say not to drive for Uber and you still have your referral up? It's like, yeah, but I've been pretty consistent. I don't really recommend this, but if you're going to start, the referral is the only time you really make money. You might as well use it. So if you don't have one, there you go. But I have noticed in Uber's ads recently, they're not even advertising bonuses anymore. I've done a couple videos where it's like they are advertising guarantees like, hey, you will make $2,700 in your first 500 rides. And I think some people don't even realize it's not a bonus. I think they say, wait, I do 500 rides and I get $2,700. Like, that's great. And it's like, no, it's not, because that's not a bonus. That's what you would have made, and it takes a long time to get that 500 rides. So it's not even really going to be felt. What really put me into taking the referral code down was really the part, and you know, I have to thank Peterson for this. He's there's a reason he's my terms of service expert. He kind of read it through with me, and he pointed out that the way it's worded, Uber has actually put it on so it's like, hey, we will determine that you can get the bonus like 2 times a year. And after that, it's up to our discretion whether you get the bonus or not.
Oh,
so they might still be accepting the drivers, but they just won't pay you their referral. So they might not deactivate you. They just won't pay you the money for that driver that you referred to them. And that's where I finally got to the point where it's like, you know what? Screw it. This relationship seems way beyond repair at this point. So if they don't care, I don't either. And yeah, I still make videos, so maybe I do care. I don't know. That's a paradox, as they say.
You know, Kevin, you raised a good point. It never occurred to me. I know I'm getting screwed on referrals because I referred a personal friend. He's a driver in Chicago, and the referral was pretty high in Chicago. I never saw a dime of that, and good luck trying to contact Uber, you know, or Malaysia, or wherever you're really contacting. But I wonder if that wouldn't be their fallback. Well, you got too many.
Yeah, and it's like, but I'm still referring you drivers, and you're still getting drivers, and they'll be like, but by putting it in the terms of service, and now some people have sarcastically stated in the comments. Maybe, I don't know. I unfortunately can't read the chat as diligently and host at the same time. That's why we've got Mike to keep an eye on stuff like that. But that's his main job. And he does a great job, by the way. But some people have pointed out, like, yeah, they just don't want people to get money not driving. And it's like, well, but I'm making videos about, like, Uber doesn't want to give the Uber tubers money because they're not driving, so they're not real drivers.
Oh, come on.
It's like, well, that's actually kind of besides the point, because I'm taking the time to make the videos, and I'm advertising them, and I'm still getting them their workforce. In fact, I'm going to even say this right now. I'm probably a very valuable person to get referrals from, because I make working for Uber sound like the worst thing in the world, and people still sign up. So, I mean, I don't know. You'd probably want that kind of audience member, like someone who watches a YouTube video is like, Uber sucks. And they're like, oh, that sounds like something I might want to do. Does he have a referral code? I'll go sign up. I don't know. So I think it's partly, they're trying to control the money. Heck, when I worked at Disneyland, they gave you like $100 if you referred a cast member. Most companies will just do that.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
Like, thank you for doing our work for us. But Uber is not a company that appreciates anything we do. I mean, I'm
thinking the biggest thing is kind of what Cecily mentioned, is that, like, frankly, they have enough drivers. There's no secret anymore. This isn't like the secret side hustle to make crazy money. Everyone knows about Uber. Uber's like, oh, everyone knows about us. We don't need marketing. And I think it's a saving money thing. They don't want to pay.
I got to disagree with you, though, Mike, because they continue to do the email campaigns. They continue to run the ads across the YouTube videos. They continue to run ads, become an Uber driver. This is the only aspect of it that I think they're cutting back on. This is the only aspect is a referral. They're still spending money in recruiting.
Yeah, but you have to recruit because the life cycle of a driver is so short. Like, people get in this game and they just fail. They bomb, and you got to replace those bodies.
It must be cheaper too. Like, just in general, you can do some email campaigns and Facebook and social media pretty cheap.
Yeah,
as
it
far
doesn't
as
cost anything.
It's
automated.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm thinking that, they're cutting maybe something that's a little more expensive to them. That's what I'm guessing.
I don't know. You know, the only time a referral pays is when they actually get a driver. They have one on the platform. When all those others are fishing, I think it's a pretty effective when you pay per driver, per signed up driver who already makes a certain amount. They don't pay that until that driver's reached your goal. Yeah, so that's a pretty sure thing in their back pocket, as opposed to any other. You could say it's cheaper to reach out, but here the only time they pay is when they have a driver that's already been profitable for them. That's the only time they pay with referrals.
The referrals used to be like upwards to $1,000. Like they don't have that to give anymore. There's just way too many new drivers on the platform, and plenty of people know that they can drive. I'm gonna do my 50 rides, and then I'm gonna walk away from this whole thing. And plenty of people have done that on both platforms. So I feel like that's a
which is why I have personally always argued against this company when they say, oh, high overturn is the lifeblood. That's just what it's like. No, it's not. It is much more beneficial for you to just pay the drivers fairly so that they don't want to quit. Therefore, you don't have to keep spending this money.
Right. I got a random question. So do people post their codes on your guys' videos?
Yes.
Oh yes. They go straight.
I'm constantly reading that stuff out.
Isn't that rude? Like, how dare you?
It is so rude.
Oh, it just goes straight to the spam.
Yeah, it
the
goes
spam filter. So
yeah.
But what kind of person does that? When you've built your own following, they're like, sign up with me. What?
Oh, I
actually get that more with DoorDash people.
Huh.
I get across the board. And then not only that, like I've people trying to, help me promote their new startup, Uber, Lyft, whatever, all that kind of stuff. It's just funny how that is. Anyway, I just wanted to get that off my chest. I'm suffering in silence.
yeah, those darn yes. Well, some people. I actually think it's funny when I post my 15-minute review of the IDW Sonic the Hedgehog comic book on my other channel that I spend hours making, and only 200 people watch it. And somebody says, "Hey, you want to make extra money driving for Uber?" It's like, I can't escape them. I can't escape them. This isn't even the Uber channel.
Oh, I know some people have found me too and found my my Instagram, which has nothing Uber on it, and I was just like, oh, okay. Or they'll say, add me to your Facebook, I'm an Uber driver, and I'm like, oh, you want to come over here?
Yeah, I get that all the time. Although actually, I get that more with Movie Pass fans, because that's the main topic on the other channel is Movie Pass, and I get a lot of people requesting my friendship, and they're like, hey, I like Movie Pass, and I've got Asperger's too. Can we be friends? It's like, no. Appreciate you watching, but no, that's not how friendships work. It just again, I appreciate everyone who watches, everyone who donates, everyone who but Facebook is, I mean, I'm even kind of considering renaming the Facebook page into like a pen name or something for Facebook, so it's just for for direct friends and family. I mean, because it gets a little annoying, I will admit.
But wouldn't we be allowed in there, Kevin?
Yes. Actually, you guys are allowed to be Facebook friends with me if you want. I think we're all on first name basis. We all have each other's phone numbers.
You heard it. Everyone in the chat can friend Kevin.
Yeah. You can also friend me if you dislike the guy from Chicago.
Oh wow! Shots fired.
I'm kidding. I actually have no issue with that guy anymore. So, but anyway, so what an episode. Do we have time to discuss Uber Pro, or whether or not UberTubers should ask for donations, or any other topic, or should we jump straight to the Q&A? Oh, before we do, we have an answer that, I will throw this out, because I noticed there was a reoccurring question in the corner of my eye in the chat that I thought it was pretty evident what this was, but I guess I have to address it, and I want to make an announcement. First of all, I would like to welcome Rideshare driver Dustin and Seachel as new moderators. That's why their names are now blue with a wrench next to them. So thank you. Welcome to the group, guys. You can filter out the comments when we're too busy on this podcast. The other thing, and this was but they asked why can our faces not be seen? And I thought that was pretty obvious, guys. It's a podcast. It's a podcast. These are designed to be watched because they do typically go on for more than an hour. And I'm sorry, I don't think I want to torture you guys by forcing you to watch us for an hour. But hey, if you're in traffic and just want to listen, that's fine. Also, it makes the stream go a lot smoother when you don't have pictures. So I just want to address those things. So
we could always just leave Cecily's camera on and then forget about the three of us.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's a reason she's in movies and we're not. I mean, actually, I'm kind of surprised Mike's not in the movies. When I finally met Mike in person, it was like, oh wow, he's buff. he definitely works. He definitely works out.
Eat that organic and hit the gym. You know it. But I do have a question from chat. It's actually a really good question. I want to highlight this one. I know we have only a few minutes. We've been going for a little over an hour right now. And thanks for everyone being in here, by the way. Really good question by Stanley Chaco. Stanley asks, the economy is good. Why are there still a lot of Uber drivers flooding the market? Whoever wants to take it.
That is
the economy's better. Unemployment's down. Why are necessarily, I mean, we don't see the numbers, obviously, but why are there, I guess, still so much saturation in most markets, I would say?
Well, I would actually like to, before we answer that question, I would like to ask a question to that question. Is it even true that the drivers are oversaturating the market? Because they did announce Uber Pro. It's like, I have never known Uber to introduce incentives to drivers at all unless they're hurting for drivers. So is it even
that's the tricky part of us not seeing any of their analytics, because we don't know. We don't even know what their turnover is. Remember, it used to be, the last figure we got was 96% turnover year over year. That's crazy.
You know what it is? I think they want to sway the guys that are on both platforms to come back to Uber. I think that's what it is. Especially right in time for the holidays, those nice bonuses going, they will stay on the Uber platform and not turn on Lyft. I think that's what it is.
See, what I think it is, Cecily, is I think they want full-time professional drivers. I think they want to weed out part-timers because very few of these rewards can be achieved by being a part-time driver.
Right. Yep.
True. That's a good one.
Oh, it definitely was geared towards full-time driving, and I think I only looked at it briefly. And Kevin, and thank you for posting that video about it. I need to dive deeper into Uber Pro, but certainly, there's some incentives there for full-time driving.
Yeah. So, hey, should we just agree? Should we just agree right now to all do our homework on Uber Pro and come back in 2 weeks and discuss it?
Yeah, I need to do a video on that too. Definitely. That's a big thing that we haven't been talking about a ton.
Yeah, and I definitely wanted to do a podcast about Uber Pro 2 weeks ago, but there was some family problems that it was just, podcasting was not on the forefront of my mind at the moment. But I still think, especially with this question, it is a good question. We just don't know. But I mean, because I guess the question now should be, could Uber Pro bring drivers back to Uber? I think that would be an interesting discussion to have. I don't know. I don't know. I know that there are some people who never quite quit. I mean, and those are the Uber tubers who, and there's more than one. I'm not talking about anyone in specific, but there are some Uber tubers who they drive. That's their living, and they drive despite making the videos. And they say, yeah, if you're not driving, you're not actually doing this, and they will definitely benefit from this program. And so, I am definitely happy for them. But would Uber Pro be enough to bring some people who don't drive as much, or are used to drive? Because some of the perks seem pretty nice. But as for the market being saturated, I don't know if that's 100% true. In fact, that might even be another reason why they are getting a hold of the referral codes, because maybe I don't know. Yeah, that's a good question. There's certainly better jobs out there than this right now.
Whoa.
That's a So I guess we are in the Q&A. Were there any other questions that we had that we could answer?
Here, let's see.
I have a question I'll ask of the three of you.
Okay.
We're coming up on Thanksgiving, and there's a theory, my theory, that people the day of or the day leading up, or the day before, the day leading up to Thanksgiving, people typically don't want to be cooking because they know they're going to be spending a day making a big meal. Might that be a good couple of days to switch over to Eats?
Oh yeah.
No,
Eats was good here because here you go. You got parents with kids at home. You got college kids coming home for, during that time as well. People might have a little time off. And so I would say during that week, definitely. And I think I even remember like McDonald's being open on Thanksgiving or something like that. So if you can post up at a place that's open on that day, then you'll get some good runs.
Because God knows we want to do Uber Eats from McDonald's.
Hey, if you're willing to put yourself out there, I'm just offering advice.
No, I think you're right, though. I think your insight is dead on.
I'm actually going to completely disagree. I'm going to say no, it's a waste of time. With all due respect, Cecily, I actually I did DoorDash and Postmates one Thanksgiving and Christmas Eve. This was, and just before anybody says something sarcastically in the comments or in the chat, yes, it was a particularly depressing time in my life, and I even remember having the conversation with my parents, like, I'm not going to come home for Christmas, and they're like, well, why? And it's like, because I'm depressed, and I don't want you to see me. So it was not a fun time, but I tried to make the most of it, and I tried doing Postmates and DoorDash, and there were like a few very, very obvious problems with this. First of all, I don't think you're not getting the big orders that you're thinking you're going to get. You're not going to get like this big turkey and this catered meal, because people who do that stuff get that stuff way in advance and they make it at home. The second problem is that most of the orders are small because it's the people who don't have Thanksgiving plans. But then the third problem is that, well, a lot of restaurants are not open on those days, or they're not open Thanksgiving Day, and they're not open late Christmas Eve. And the fourth problem, and maybe this has been improved, but the apps don't know what stores are closed. So there's more often than not, you get to the restaurant, they're closed, and you have to spend 20 minutes wasting time trying to get that order canceled because nobody has an option on their app that says the store isn't open.
Yeah, well, okay, now I have to ask this question. How in the world can the order go out if the store, I mean, the order doesn't, maybe I'm wrong here, but the order doesn't go out from the person placing the order. The order goes out from the store.
Here's what happens. If they can't get a hold of the machine or the computer or whatever would put that order in, it comes back and it says, we haven't been able to get in contact with the restaurant. Use your card and order it at the restaurant.
I see.
It's yeah, and you know, I actually had this problem on days that wasn't holidays. Katie likes doing Postmates for a little extra money, and we've got this nice little system where I drive the car, she picks up the food, and she gets all the money.
That's the way to do it.
But I get to pick the music, so you know, everybody wins. Everybody wins in that one. And as little as a month ago, we went to this pho place, which we got there. It said order at the restaurant, and the place was closed because they don't open Sundays. And we spent a good half hour, like at one point, after realizing there was no option that the store was closed, we just selected we have to go offline. We waited 10 minutes after we got offline, which is what they force you to do. And it's like, boy, I am amazed that they safeguards in these apps. Like, I think there should be a few options, like the wait for the food is more than an hour long, or the store isn't open, or they're asking me to buy cigarettes or something like that. You'd think they would have these options on the app, but they don't. By the way, anyone in chat,
I'm thinking. You got me thinking here. Is that the next thing? Uber smokes? Or in Canada, it could be Uber tokes.
They already have an app that if you want to get marijuana delivered on demand, you can. I think it's called High Dive.
I mean,
there's tons
legal.
Or High Drive. Yeah. So
California.
So but yeah, so in my opinion, and I guess Mike can share his opinion, but I think if someone says, I drive on Thanksgiving or Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, the answer is no.
Well, the only on Thanksgiving, the days leading up to Thanksgiving.
The days leading up, maybe.
Yeah. Well, maybe I'll be the guinea pig because I don't think I'm going home for Thanksgiving, Christmas, and I've been, with the whole mess on Uber, I can do Lyft once I get my new vehicle registered and all that. I've been doing more delivery. And since I got a different vehicle, I can't do the scooter charging. It's not a hatchback. So, yeah, I'm doing primarily delivery right now until I get the Lyft profile updated. So maybe I'll be the guinea pig. I probably will be driving next week into Thanksgiving. And I'll let you guys know if it's worth it or if it was a bust. Well, I guess we'll find out.
And when you make that video, you got to cite this podcast as this is where you got the idea to do that experiment.
I remember I've driven some just different holidays. I can't remember which ones. I know I've done Christmas after or before our family parties, and I've driven, obviously, New Year's and stuff. I can't remember if I've done Thanksgiving or not, but I'll let you guys know.
Yeah. I drove one Christmas. That was that year that I wasn't going home. And
I don't know about you.
I made over $100, but it was dead. I was reading in the car most of the time. The only reason I made more than $100 is because people were extremely generous with tipping, and of course they ask.
True, I remember that.
They kind of ask, like, well, what? So do you not have Christmas plans? And they don't say it meanly. Yep. It should be noted. Like they say, so you don't have any Christmas plans, and then
exactly.
And I'm too depressed to like be friendly, so it's like, well, this is what's going on. So I just didn't go home for Christmas, and it was actually kind of therapeutic, to be honest. Except for one guy. There was this one guy who was a jerk. He's like, so don't have Christmas plans? I'm like, no, I'm pretty depressed. And he's like, well, at least you're staying productive member of society. And then he didn't tip. It was like that guy got 1 star. He was a jerk. Okay, do we have any other questions for this particular episode of the podcast? Mike, you're kind of our scanner.
I'm looking.
Any good ones?
I just got to give a thumbs up to Dark Road Run for his pun of instead of a referral bonus, he got a reefer bonus.
That is funny.
That's awesome. So anyway.
The majority of comments. Not seeing too many.
Not seeing any questions.
Nah, I'm not.
Taking it over. No. This has been fun. I hope everyone has plans for Christmas this year, by the way. Thankfully, I do this year. So hopefully I can tell you about them in one of the future podcasts. I got to keep some Christmas plans under wraps, just because I don't know who's listening. But
I'm wishing that you have a Merry Christmas, Kevin.
Holiday season's coming up.
It will. It should be a Merry Christmas this year. So I'm pretty positive it'll be better than last Christmas anyway. We will just leave it at that. So all right, no questions. I guess we are going to wrap it up then. Well, anyone who's in the listening who haven't given us a thumbs up, feel free to do so. I did see someone in the chat. I'm just going to mention this. I'm kind of amazed that we still have to bring this up once in a while, where he said that got a scam call today. posing as Uber wanted my email and password. Guys,
Wow.
I'm just going to say this right now. This scam has been going on for a long time. Don't ever give anyone who's calling saying that you've got a promotion, a bonus, or whatnot. Like, if they say, we're calling from Uber and we got one of these things and we want to give it to you, we just need your username and password. Don't do it. It's a scam artist. They're doing it just to get into your account. And it's clear to see this as a scam for two reasons. One, Uber already has that information. They're not going to ask. And two, and this is unfortunately the bigger part of it, you'll almost never get a call from Uber.
They don't care that much.
They don't. Darkwood Run says, hope there's a 10K sub party soon, Kevin. Yeah, okay. You know, I guess I'm gonna ask you guys this. I don't know. I've kind of been thinking about this. But for the 10,000 subscription party, I've actually been thinking, I don't know if this is a good idea or not, so maybe you guys can slap me into reality if it's not, about like kickstarting the 10,000 subscription party, because I discovered in Southern California a place that sold the biggest pizza in the world that you could have delivered.
Yeah, I've seen that place.
Yeah, but it's like, oh, I always do pizza live streams. Maybe maybe we could do this and do like a little meet and greet live stream. And then I found out the pizza costs like $300. And
okay, so like Kevin, check it out. Like, I haven't done my 10,000 subscriber party, so maybe we could have a joint party.
We could have a joint party. We should definitely do that. Then I think that'd be cool. We'll split. Yeah, we'll split the cost. Okay, yeah, maybe when I do the pizza. Yeah, so okay, everyone. I guess we will do a joint 10,000 subscription. Maybe we'll do a live stream.
You're doing a joint party? Are we back to the marijuana?
No, we're not.
Delivering it, Mark.
No, we are not.
I gotta say, I'm sitting here smiling because I'm thinking back to a video where the two of you were sitting in a car, and Kevin, you were commenting that you were so happy to be in a live stream with someone.
I know.
A channel that had 5,000 subs.
It was only 3,000 at the time.
3,000.
Was it 2,000?
No, it was only 3. It was 3 at the time.
It was a little more than 3,000. You had just hit 3,000.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so he's definitely. Did you pass me up yet? I think you're.
No, I have not passed you. You're probably always going to be just a little ahead of me because people like you more.
I don't know if that's true, but
it doesn't matter that I make the daily videos. It doesn't matter that I still talk about Rideshare and you. No, it doesn't matter that I'm the host of the monthly Rideshare podcast. You're always going to have more subscribers than me.
That's not true, but yeah, that's funny. Let's do it. That'd be fun.
Oh, all right. So I'll call out. Yeah, if there's other local Uber tubers, yeah, we should. Yeah, we'll have to work out the details outside the podcast. But I guess near the end of the year or early next year, we will be doing a 10,000 subscriber live stream, and yeah. So maybe we'll do what like me and Mike and Aaron did. We'll both live stream on our channels at the same time.
Absolutely, we have to do that.
That would be fun. That would be fun. So I don't know if it should be during December though, because there's Christmas and there's my birthday. So my schedule is going to be very, very.
It's a good way to open the year. Maybe early sometime in January or something.
I think it sounds good. Yeah.
Awesome. So. Okay, well, that was a good topic. We've gone on for a while and exhausted. I mean, it still seems like there's so much we could say about this, but it's just probably a good time to end. Guys, join us in a couple weeks. We will be discussing Uber Pro at that point. We've actually got it in place, and this is episode 11 for the year. I would like to ideally have 13 episodes before the end of the year, so that when next year starts, because seasons will start by usual on this podcast. So I think 13 episodes is a good amount for a good first season. That's how most TV shows do it.
We did almost a dozen episodes. You're kidding me.
No, this is episode 11.
Wow. Oh wow, really? Okay. You gotta run these.
Yeah, well,
distribute these on iTunes and everything. We're getting up there.
Yeah,
we're professionals now.
Yeah. Yes, I'm still waiting for a thumbnail for iTunes, Mike. I'm not saying who I asked to do it, Mike. And I'm not going to say who agreed to do it, Mike. But I'm still, Mike, waiting for it. And then we can put it in iTunes.
Definitely noted.
I'm kidding.
You've got your homework, Mike.
The only reason I ask is because my graphics suck, and you do them way better than I do. I see that Rideshare Dustin wants to talk. Well, you know what, Dustin, maybe you'll be a guest star one of these days, because there have been days where one of them can't make it, and I typically have guest co-hosts come in on those days. Just unfortunately for all of them, Cecily, Mark, and Mike have all been made available in the last few episodes. Oh, technically we've only done 10 together, because there was that one episode I did without you guys where I had that guy on, and that didn't go quite as well as I would have hoped. But so I think I definitely need you guys here to make this successful.
Oh, it's nice to be wanted. Thank you.
You're welcome. So anyway, folks, that's where we're going to end today's episode. Thank you for joining us. If you are just listening to this after the live stream fact, give us a like, comment below, subscribe to all of our channels. The channels will be on the bottom, as well as a link to my Patreon page. My birthday's coming up. And as always, flame response. Oh, it just dawned on me. 10,000 subscribers. Yeah, 10,000. The live stream for the 10,000 subscriber party. I will finally explain what flame responsibly means for everyone who asks.
That's right. He said that. He did.
So I made that. I promised that if I got to $500 worth of donations on Patreon or 10,000 subscribers, whichever came first, I would explain that. Right. I'm only at like $42 on Patreon, so I guess on 10,000 subscribers, I'm going to explain the $500 question. What does flame responsibly actually mean?
I can't wait.
But until that actually happens, as always, flame responsibly. Have a good one.
All right. Bye, guys.
See ya.
Good night, everyone.